It is not just in your head. Dating seems more difficult than it has ever been before. Perhaps you downloaded an application like Tinder, Hinge, or Bumble following a breakup or the suggestion of a friend. You gave a try. You navigated through profiles. You made some connections. You might have even gone on some dates. But rather than feeling excitement, you were left with a sense of exhaustion, disconnection, and general indifference. If this describes your current situation, you're certainly not the only one. Reports indicate that over 350 million people are using dating apps worldwide. However, between 70 and 80% of these users report experiencing burnout. The most cited reasons for this are the difficulty in finding authentic connections, being ghosted or deceived, and facing repeated rejection. These applications are intended to be a convenient method for people to find love and companionship. Yet for many of us, they have transformed into a second job that pays only in disappointment. Furthermore, troubling news stories about dates from these platforms going terribly wrong have contributed to the sense of apprehension. This has made some individuals feel even more unsafe while using these services. Many of us have felt depleted after a series of unsatisfying dates, instances of being ghosted, or a pervasive feeling of emptiness. Even if you're still getting matches, the emotional energy required no longer seems worthwhile. It is important to know that feeling this way is perfectly acceptable. You place a high value on genuine connections, but they feel increasingly elusive. After a few dates arranged through an app, you have likely felt as though you were simply going through the motions. You might have matched with someone who seemed ideal on their profile, but there was no spark when you met in person. Alternatively, a date might have gone well, but you found yourself feeling even lonelier on the way home. This feeling is not an illusion. Dating apps facilitate swiping based on photos and biographies, but they fail to capture the small details that make a person feel real. These are things like the way they laugh at your jokes or the look they give you when you share something vulnerable. When you consistently encounter people who are merely killing time or seeing where things go, a sense of disconnection is an understandable result. Wanting something more substantial does not mean you are broken. It means you desire something authentic. You have a deep desire to be seen for who you truly are. Putting yourself out there on dating apps can often feel like a constant audition for a part you are not even sure you want. Despite carefully selected photos and a witty bio, the entire experience can feel like a performance. This is an exhausting endeavor that many people experience. Approximately 18 to 20% of users report feeling burned out for this very reason. When you feel compelled to sell a version of yourself just to get noticed, dating apps cease to be fun and become a never-ending tryout. You might find yourself obsessing over whether you said the right thing or came across as interesting enough. It is no wonder that you have chosen to pull back from this process. You're not asking for too much. You simply want to be seen for your true self, not for your photos or your job title. You have been ghosted frequently. The classic scenario involves meeting someone and having a great conversation, only for them to disappear without a word. There is no explanation and no closure, just silence. This is not merely annoying. It is emotionally draining and painful. After this happens enough times, you begin to anticipate it, even when you do not want to. Studies indicate that ghosting is one of the leading reasons people delete dating apps, as it leaves you questioning yourself. You wonder if it was something you said, if you were too intense, or if you were not enough. The more it occurs, the more tempting it becomes to stop trying altogether, which is a very sensible reaction. You're tired of having the same conversations over and over. Questions about what you do for fun, your taste in music, or whether you have pets can become incredibly repetitive. You may have found yourself on autopilot during these chats, which often feel scripted and flat. You crave conversations that have more depth and create a real sense of connection, rather than just an exchange of surface-level facts. When these interactions start to feel more like job interviews, it is only natural to begin questioning your reasons for participating. You have been let down too many times. Perhaps you have been hurt in the past through ghosting, rejection, or being misled. You may have been on dates where you thought something special could develop, only for it to fall apart. After enough of these disappointments, your emotional defenses start to go up. Hope gradually fades, and you might tell yourself that dating apps are only for casual flings anyway. Protecting your heart feels safer than opening up to the possibility of being let down once more. This is a natural and understandable response to pain. You are protecting yourself, and that is a valid choice. After facing so many blows to your confidence, taking a step back from dating can be an act of self-preservation. When you stop actively searching for someone, it is not because you have given up. It is because you're choosing to protect your own peace of mind. You're giving your heart the space it needs to heal while you focus on yourself. This does not mean you are broken. It simply means you are human. You are questioning whether the effort is even worth it. At some point, you have likely asked yourself if it is all worthwhile. The emotional cost begins to outweigh the potential benefits. The effort, energy, and vulnerability required to keep putting yourself out there feel like more than what you receive in return. You may wonder if the frustration of awkward conversations and flaky people is truly worth the slim chance of meeting someone who understands you. If your honest answer to that question has recently been no, that is a perfectly valid conclusion. This is not giving up, it is gaining clarity. Stepping back is not a failure of hope, but a recognition that your time, energy, and mental peace are valuable commodities worth protecting. Dating burnout is real, and you are allowed to take a break. You are allowed to want deeper, more meaningful connections. You are allowed to step away until dating feels like something you want to do, not something you have to do. Trust your instincts, honor your feelings, and remember there is no single correct way to approach dating. If you feel stuck, there's no shame in reaching out to a dating coach or a therapist for support and clarity.